How's it going, y'all? Rowdy Riles back with another video, and today we're not doing a review, but we are doing an overview of a series as a whole. I know I did one previously, but I didn't have the entire line of figures, but now that the adventure series is over, which it unfortunately is, at least for now, we're going to take a closer look at every single wave and talk about them and talk about what Hasbro should have done and what they could do in the future if they try to bring the line back. There is an Indiana Jones game coming out next year. There's always marketing for video games. Like, you could do 2 more waves. You could finish Temple of Doom, and you could do Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and you could do 3 more waves, because there's 3 in the first run, and then do a game wave for the video game. But yeah, with all that being said, we're going to look at these figures and talk about them and talk about why Adventure Series was so experimental, but they didn't experiment enough, and why Indiana Jones doesn't last in the retail space and all that stuff. But yeah, with all that being said, let's start talking about that. So first of all, let's talk about the thing that Hasbro 100% completely nailed in the Adventure Series, and that is the build an artifact concept. As you can see, we have the 3 artifacts from the original trilogy. We have the Grail Table from Last Crusade, which was just recently finished. We have the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we have the Sankara Stone Shrine from Temple of Doom. Now, with all that being said, we're missing the Dial of Destiny, which isn't even a big artifact. It's something that, you know, Indy could have come with half of, and Valor could have come with the other half of. And we're also missing a Crystal Skull wave completely. Like, there's no representation there. And it would have been cool to have gotten, like, the throne with a crystal skull sitting in it, like a crystal alien skeleton sitting in it. That would have been great. So I'm still hoping that when the game comes out, there'll be more marketing for Indiana Jones, more product on the shelves. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but like I said, this is something that Hasbro did really well. You know, usually they do Build-A-Figures with the Marvel Legends and all that, but the build an artifact concept is fantastic, and it was executed really well. It made you buy figures that you probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Like, I don't think I would have picked up Ronaldo or as many Indies as I did if I didn't need all the artifact pieces. So it did what it set out to accomplish, and it's also like really nicely sculpted and detailed. Like, just look at the Grail Table. You know, we've got a bunch of different chalices on there. We've got the headstone on the back. It's got a nice wash to it, really nice texture. Then we've got the Ark, which is very shiny, very golden, very godlike. You know, it looks like it does in the movie, just a little bit of bend on one of those angels. And then the Sankara Shrine as well is very detailed. We've got nice sculpt. We've got the stones. We've got the little snake on top. It's very cool thing that they did with the build and artifacts. And definitely one of the things I'm happiest about with the Adventure Series.
Dr. Jones, you're a man of many talents.
And then, of course, we had Wave 1 and all of its exclusives online or Target, whatever they were. And as I said in my first video about the Adventure Series, it's basically perfect. You know, the exclusives are non-essential, but, you know, one of them is Kazim, in my opinion. But we've got 2 different variants of Indy, and then we've got Indy from Raiders of the Lost Ark, which isn't the perfect Indy, in my opinion. You have to make that yourself. You have to switch the Last Crusade head with this body to make the best Indy. So Hasbro didn't even nail that quite. But with all that being said, Wave 1 was perfect. The Ark was perfect. The only thing that was missing was German Mechanic and the other German bad guy from the end of the movie. His name is drawing a blank right now. But, you know, it's got a wide range of characters. There's no double dips other than the exclusives. And it's just a well-rounded, well-made first wave of a very promising line of figures. As you can see, these figures were the basis for all the other ones in the reuse and et cetera and et cetera. Well, some of them. There's really no reuse from Sala or Belloc or Marion. But everyone else has body reuse at some point.
I'm going after that truck. This up as I go.
And then, of course, we got into Wave 2, which was the Temple of Doom wave, and I forgot to include Donovan in Wave 1. He's a Wave 1 exclusive, pretty dang sure. But this is where some of the cracks start to show, because look how many Indies there are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 Indies. Now, granted, one of them is a deluxe, quote-unquote deluxe, separate, exclusive Cairo Indy in the middle, and then this is a 2-pack. That was also the only 2-pack in the line. But we have 4 Indiana Jones in Wave 2. We have Short Round, which is amazing. We have a mixed match of Temple of Doom and Dial of Destiny, which is disappointing because we did not get Mola Ram, we did not get Willie, and that is a huge bummer and a huge disappointment. And like, I don't understand it, because some of these characters, regardless of what they're wearing, are Nazis, they're bad guys, and you know, we understand that there's certain stereotypes and all that stuff in Temple of Doom, but at the same time, it's a movie that Disney bought the rights to, and if you're going to make merchandise for it and you're going to make a way for it, you can't do it without. I don't even know why they didn't include Willie, because why won't Capshaw show up? Like, what's up with that? And I get the Mola Ram is like a quote unquote stereotype, and that's fair, but he's also part of the series and in the movies. Like, you can't erase that. So what's up with that? And then of course the deluxe Cairo Indy is not deluxe. He comes with the same amount of accessories as the Wave 1 Indy, with all the extra hands plus a monkey, but it all evens out to the same amount of accessories regardless, because the Wave 1 Indy comes with the golden idol and a build and artifact piece. So it was just Hasbro being like, well, this was going to be Mola Ram, so what can we slide in here? Another Indy, and this is an Indy that should have been a Wave 1 exclusive, because this is from Raiders. This is his iconic look from the movie poster. And you're going to include it in Wave 2 as a deluxe figure, when that's probably if anyone wants this and they want one figure, that's the easiest one for them to get, because there's nothing attached, there's no build and artifact, you're not starting something you can't finish, you just have Indiana Jones. So, you know, Hasbro started off really strong. I'm not saying the figures are bad, that's not what I'm saying at all, but I'm just saying they started off strong and they started to lose the bag. There's so much reuse, which is fair because it's a very experimental, very small line, and it's a fair weather retail thing, which means if there's not a movie in cinemas or theaters, or there's not like a game coming out, hint hint, then there's really not going to be marketing or merchandise. It's one of those things, and this being the last Indiana Jones movie, I do not want this to be the last of the adventure series, because there's so many more characters that we need, and so many of them were skipped out on Wave 2. Like I said, there's 4 Indiana Jones in Wave 2, and it's a real shame. As much as I love Indiana Jones, that's a lot of Indy, and a lot less of people we need, like Willie and Mola Ram.
Trust me.
And that leads us to the, as of right now, final wave of the adventure series. Sadly, Wave 3, it is complete. I have all the figures. Not all my videos are out yet, but they will be over the next month. I'm trying to stick to a schedule so I don't get ahead of myself and run out of content for y'all. But once again, it's another near perfect wave. But my gripe here with Wave 3 and Wave 2 is that there's 2 figures that are from a different movie in both waves. In Wave 2, we had Indy and Helena from Dial of Destiny, and in this wave, we have Jurgen and Ronaldo, who I don't think should have been made a figure at all. You could have made Teddy, you could have made Gruber, or Groper, I don't know what his name is, the blonde guy with the mustache in the suit, or the big burly guy, just to have another henchman for Indy to fight. And you could have made a complete Dial of Destiny wave as a Wave 4. Because as it stands, the original trilogy, which is understandable, is fully represented, other than Willie and Mola Ram and a couple other Nazi villains, which is kind of understandable, but not really, because you can like take the insignias off and just name the person and not call them what they are, if that's your main problem. But this wave could have been perfect if we had had maybe like a Last Crusade Sala, and then the guy that Indy fights on the tank at the end of the movie would have been perfect. Would have been all new sculpts, which this one almost is. Henry Jones Sr. and Jurgen Voller are that suited body from Professor Indy reuse from Wave 1 exclusives. But that's the point of this line. It's supposed to be cheap and efficient for Hasbro to make, which means they should be able to continue for much longer, because there are so many characters that we don't have. And I really do appreciate these 4 figures in particular. That Indy, the head sculpt is great, the articulated hat is great, the Grail Knight is just an awesome figure all around. Great sculpt, great accessories, great likeness to the actor, and so is the Sean Connery figure. I know there's reuse, but we've got a bunch of accessories for him. He's got his hat, his glasses, it's all removable. And then Elsa also comes with a bunch of great accessories, and she's represented. Willie's not represented, Marion is represented, and then we don't get Mutt, we don't get Arena Spelko, we don't get anybody from, we don't get Mac, we don't get a Crystal Skull Indy, and that's because Hasbro didn't want to commit to doing the best they could as far as representation goes. They're just like, let's just make it quick and efficient and fulfill our contract and get on out. And that's not what Indiana Jones fans want. We want this to continue because you've only scratched the surface of Indiana Jones characters. And yes, they all look pretty generic as far as uniforms and stuff, but that makes it so much easier for you, Hasbro. So much easier. You could make so many figures with the sculpts you already have. It's just a matter, like, she has the pants for Spalko right here. All she needs is a different top and a different head sculpt, and she's good to go. You know, same with Mutt. You could use the Ronaldo body, give him some boots, give him his jacket instead of that coat, and then you've got Mutt Williams right there with a new head sculpt. It's no problem at all. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, not planned at all. There's 2 figures I could have made from Crystal Skull. For Mac, you know, just use, you may have to make a new sculpt, but that's how it is sometimes. You do 4 reuse and 1 new. And I'm really sad because I really like Indiana Jones. It's my favorite. Raiders is my favorite movie. This is my favorite line. This is the most fun I've had collecting action figures and taking photos and all that stuff. And now it's over. And the movies are over because Harrison Ford is 81 years old. And that's what's saddest to me. You have people complaining about everything but the right things, which is, we got what we had and we should appreciate that. But we should want more. You know, we should get more, is all I'm saying. And that's where I'm at. And then let me show you my perfect Indy from the Adventure series because, like I said, I really love this Last Crusade head sculpt, but I don't think we got the perfect generic representation of Indy from every movie that we need and deserve. So I'll show you guys how to make that really quick. So here we have the Wave 1 Indy and the Wave 3 Indy, and as you can see, this head sculpt has the articulated hat and the better likeness in my opinion. This one's not bad, but for the purposes of my collection, I'm going to swap the 2 heads because I like that head sculpt better on this body because that's generic Indy. He works for Last Crusade, he works for Raiders, he works for all of them. Don't know why they don't want to focus. But give me 1 second and I'll swap the heads. So here is our Last Crusade Indy with the Wave 1 head. And if you wanted to switch the Temple of Doom head on the Wave 1 body, it would not work because the pegs are different sizes. But fortunately, and I knew they'd fit because this body is reused from Wave 1 completely, other than the tie and the chest with the collar, I knew this head sculpt would fit. And in my opinion, this looks like a little bit older Indy with the more defined lines next to his nose and mouth. So he works better for Last Crusade in my opinion. So that's how he sits on my shelf. So that means, of course, my definitive Indy is the Wave 1 body with the Wave 3 head sculpt. And the only thing missing in my opinion is 2 more buttons undone on the front of that shirt. And he could work for most of Raiders and the end of the Last Crusade. But, you know, this is the Indy that Hasbro should have given us, except with a belt clip that works, because it still doesn't work. I just kind of like tuck it under his jacket for the most part. But they did kind of fix that as the wave went on, or the series went on, but still not perfect. But yeah, like I said, I'm sad to see this line go. I'm glad that it came though. And yeah, and then he sits in the middle of my shelf holding the Grail, because it's my Last Crusade Indy. Main Last Crusade Indy, because I got the Cairo for Raiders, I got the Temple of Doom for Temple of Doom, and he's not wearing the tie at the end of the movie, so this is my Last Crusade stand-in.
Indiana Jones!
Let her go. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
So with all of that being said, y'all, it's a bittersweet ending to my favorite line of the year. You know, a couple of these figures are going to show up in my top 10. Hasbro always does, some way or another. And I'm really, like I said, I'm really happy that we got it, but I'm really sad to see it go because we've barely just scratched the surface of Indiana Jones. There's so much more we could have gotten. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to the discretion of Hasbro, what they do in Disney to a higher extent. And, you know, these went on clearance. They're overstocked for certain figures. Most of the indies sell out, of course. But it's just one of those things where we really had to speak with our wallets, and I'm hoping that the sales were enough that when the video game comes out next year, we'll at least get 1 or 2 more waves, maybe 3, or maybe a mixed match, maybe 2 waves to finish Temple of Doom and to do Crystal Skull, and then 1 for the game completely. That would be nice. You know, they could do Mutt, Spalko, Indy from Dial of Destiny, give us Mola Ram and Willie, and that's a whole wave. That's 6 figures, and then you can have the build and artifact be the Crystal Alien. And then you can do 1 wave for the video game with whatever that artifact is. And then you could be done. At least we would get a little bit more. But I digress. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button down below. If you like the adventure series whatsoever, hit the like button down below. Comment, let me know what your favorite figure is, what you think they should have made. If you're sad it's gone, how your day is going, let me know all that stuff. And if you're not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe, because it means a lot to me that you guys enjoy my content and I see you guys just hitting that button and coming back. That's great. I love that. I wish that the Indiana Jones Adventure series would keep hitting that button and coming back, but it is what it is. I love y'all. I'll see you next time, and bye-bye. Mwah. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, one more thing. If adventure has a name, it must be Rowdy Riles. Sorry.